dear friends, welcome back again. We are so happy you popped over again to see what we are up to today. Of course, for everyone who is new here, welcome. We are Janny and Dyanne, and we hope you enjoy what you see. And if you do, of course, we hope you take a little bit of inspiration with you. For everyone who is here and is not subscribed to our channel, we hope you will click the red subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and tick the bell so you will be notified every time we upload new DIYs. Like we always say, enough talking, let's jump in today's inspiration.
Hey everyone, Dyanne here. Welcome to a new DIY with, you see them here, Jenga blocks. I want to make 2 everyday lanterns, and I'm going to make them out of Jenga blocks. For the ones new to our channel, welcome. These are the blocks that Jenny and I use, and we buy them online at some sort of party supply shop, and they cost €3 for 45 pieces, and then this is what you get, these pieces. We love to work with them. We also need the wood glue. I have Patex wood glue. This stuff is sold at a shop here in the Netherlands, which is similar to Dollar Tree, and the shop has been called Action, and they have really good crafting supplies for not so much of money. Almost everything you see me using here will be from the Action, I think. This crafting mat, the scissors, the glue, yeah, mostly the paint is too, the brushes, everything is so super cheap, and the store here is nearby because they have really a large amount of stores in our country. Good. Well, enough talking. I'm going to start with building. I want to make 2 lanterns, a big one and a small one, and every lantern has 4 sides, and I'm going to make some sort of framework. I think I'll do the the small one here will be this wide. I'm going to make 3, and then I'm going to put blocks back again like that, and then we keep continuing just like so, and then a layer here. It's not super neat right now, but if you're placing them, make sure that this one here is in the right center there, and that will be our small lantern. For the big lantern, I want to add an extra row, and then we take these to the center here, and then we put on 2 extra here on the side. So yeah, a little bit sturdy, but I think you know what I mean. I'm going to craft more. I need an extra crafting mat to let them dry, and I think the wood glue has a drying time of about, yeah, what shall it be today? It's 21 degrees here with a humidity of 50%. I give it an hour maximum, but it's getting warmer because the sun is shining, and I have a lot of glass here in this room, so the temperature will be rising soon, and yeah, then the drying time will be a lot shorter. Good. I'm going to craft. I'm going to put on some music. I think you hear some music too when you're watching this, and when I'm back, the glue is dry and we can assemble the plates together. A lot of wood here. I like a space, so I have to wait. I already glued these parts for the other 2, laid them down here, so I only have to apply these things in the middle, but we have to wait until the glue is dry, and then we can stack everything up on each other and make the last 2 frames out of these. The small one is ready. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, actually. However, there is a little bit of glue peeping through. I suggest just wiping it away with your finger. You can also use a damp cloth or tissue paper, totally up to you, as long as this is dry well enough. I really like the framework. I hope you do too. It isn't super hard to make. You can also use a glue gun if you want to, but I prefer wood glue because it lasts longer. At least it's my experience, and it also has a stronger, connection joint here. So if you let it fall by accident, I think it doesn't break down that quickly than when you're using a glue gun. But as I said, totally up to you. We'll be back soon. Hey, everything is dry. I have 4 frames here, and the 4 smaller ones are here. Oh, it's starting somehow. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, hey. That just happened. I have to reglue this. But there were 4 here. Well, then I suggest I start off with painting these for the first. But first, just grab our glue gun. Yeah, this can happen. Apparently it didn't. Or somehow I get that wood really soaks up the glue. And then I gotta redo it. But first, don't notice that. But it's a quick fix, so no big deal. Yeah, here. Now, this can dry. Carefully move it over there. That way. Good. Now, we can turn these around, and then we come to the paint side. Let's lay these down, and we're going to paint. See, are there any big pieces of glue that we should remove before? We can also use sanding paper, by the way, for doing this. Here a little bit. Well, there we go then. I grabbed myself a brush and also a can of white paint. I just have regular paint here from the construction market, which is really good stuff. Let's just give it a little stir first before we start decorating. There we have it, just fresh white paint. Good. Now, painting time. Hey, I'm back with all the painted parts, 4 of the big lantern and 4 of the smaller lantern. The idea is to make a square out of these things. Of course, now it doesn't stick, but just glue them this way, not this way, because then you won't get an even square, but like this. And then the last one should go, well, at the back, of course, but I can't manage to do so because then everything will fall apart. What is the easiest thing to do this? I have no idea. I'm just doing something. Push them against each other, and then adding a little bit of glue should do, in my opinion. Now you get something like this. That's the whole idea. But now everything is falling apart because it won't stand up straight. Then this is the lantern idea that we need. I'm going to pour glue on these sides, and I might want to use heavy objects. For example, filled packages of these. Well, this one is empty because I used the box, but I bet there are several in my stash that still contain blocks, so which are heavy enough to hold the whole thing together. Guess I'm going to use those. Wish me luck. Back again, and you see I have 2 lanterns at least the side parts are done. Now, I want to make bottom parts in there. I guess just by using these again. Now let's see how many we need. Why do it so difficult? We can measure it here as well. Or, let me move these aside carefully. I'm just going to make these 2 long. And how long is 2 of these? Because then we know that we got squares. Just do it this way. I believe 6, wasn't it? Yeah. So 1 extra here. This should fit. And it does. Yeah. Of course, we still need to glue a little bit more. So this is what you can do. Or maybe, never tried that before, by the way. How about this? I'm just brainstorming right now. What if we do this way? No, I'm doing something. Oh, it is right. I thought I was doing something wrong. Should this fit? This should be the same size. It's a little bit larger. It gives quite a luxurious look, to be honest. And what is happening if we just put 1 layer of these inside and then we leave a little gap open? Should that be disturbing or not? Or are we able to fill the whole thing up just by adding some more blocks? I hope it doesn't. It's too difficult. So then you get just a tiny... Oh, I really like this pattern, by the way. You see what I did? I love this. I want to have this in my lantern. This is so cool. Yeah. Oh, well, no, I'm going to just do it this way then. We need 4 of 3 pieces. And just some loose blocks. Those will be for later use. First, we'll grab our glue again. And then, how I always most of the time want to glue, just lay one of the row down, the last or the first one, that doesn't matter, and turn the other parts a quarter. Then we just add glue. Oops, that was a little bit too much. This is more than enough. To all the pieces, we can let that dry. I don't think it needs that much drying time today because it is pretty warm here. If you want to divide the glue a little bit better, then I suggest you rubbing the parts against each other. And then you get nicely spread out glue and hopefully not that leaky pieces that we sometimes have. There we are. And now the only thing you have to do is put them behind each other. Just like so. There was a bit of a clump inside of the glue there. Just like this. Now we let this dry. I think today is even getting warmer right now, 25 degrees here. I think today for this, look, it almost sticks when I lift it up. Normally it would totally fall apart, but it dries pretty quickly today. You want everything to be solid, so I get 2 blocks and I first push everything together like so. And then we outline it by pushing it this way. By doing this, you get really neat designs of, pretty shaped blocks with no gaps in between. There we are. Okay, now I'll let this dry and then I'm going to glue them together. However, I am still believing that when I put my square, how did I just do that? I totally forgot. Oh yeah, let's start with this off. No, not this way. I totally forgot how I did that. I believe it was this. And not this. Or was it that? I forgot. I have to look the video back. Or was it this way somehow? No. Maybe this one then. Should it be this one? Yeah, I think it was this way. No, over here. Yeah, got it. There we are. Okay, I think I'm just straight going to glue it together then. Take these 4 out. Now I gotta glue 2 sides, the short side here and the longer side. Just do it this way then. And I'm going to carefully put them in. Do not push it together, that will come later. Just, you can't wait now because it is on 2 opposite sides, and when I lay it down it really starts leaking and you don't want that. These 2 sides as well. And carefully slide it in place. Doesn't have to be super neat. We're going to fix that in a few seconds after we put this one on. Oops, wrong side, this side. Otherwise there's glue on the outer parts, you don't want that. Now we do the same trick. Push everything together, not here because then this will fall apart. There we are. And over here too. Okay, now let's take a look. We can divide everything. There we are, I guess. The first bottom, I can also make just feet this way, so it has a little razor, so the lantern won't stand up on the table. But is it nice to do, or don't we want to do that? Or maybe, yeah, I have an idea. I'll just do it this way. Glue it here, there, there, and there. Or on the small side, if you want to put it up like that, which is also an idea. Just going to do it here. That's one disadvantage about wood glue, is that you can still move it around for some time. There, now these 2, and then it can stand up a little bit for some elevation, some playful elevation. I think this looks pretty cute. Now you're not going to see this anymore, so don't be aware of drippers or anything. That's number 1. And now I'm going to try to do the same thing, but then for the bigger lantern. So put these aside. Carefully with this one. And swap the crafting mats. Like so. And now I can continue with the other one. Was quite the jigsaw puzzle, wasn't it? Oh, I forget the bottom parts. I found it a fun way to make a bottom part for one of my creations, and I hope that you like it too. But you can always try something else, or maybe some sort more like, yeah, this idea, leaving spaces open in between. That is totally up to you. There, the last blocks for the foot parts. And then we can wait until it's dry, then we can start painting, but let this dry really well. Oops, wrong way. There should it be. It's just looking at the blocks and I thought, this isn't going to work. Yeah, and this one should go here. So, sometimes you gotta try something new, don't you think? The small one is dry, so that one can be painted. The large one is still drying, so no big deal. I think 15 minutes is just enough for today, because this thing literally dried when I was making the big one. Didn't expect that to happen. What is nice, I think we just started by doing these first, because then we can put the whole thing down, and then we don't have to look here anymore. Make sure that you do all the parts, because you're going to see if you don't. All the side parts then, I mean. So now actually painting the bottom part too. You're not going to see that. Just like this. I really love working with this paint, by the way. It's not a commercial, it's just fabulous good paint. Good. Now, place this thing back upon its feet. Oh no, forgot to do the sides first. Here. Is it an idea to hold it in the center? Yes, that works well. Personally, I always prefer to do the side parts first, and to avoid drippers. If you've got a corner here, do not do this, because then this is what happens. You get a big chunk of paint. So always do this. You see? And then that thing doesn't happen. Just a simple tip from us to you. And then the last one here, but I'm going to put it down right now. Ooh, nice finger hole. Now I can switch it around. There. And the top section is also pretty easy. I first just do the parts where are bigger gaps in between, so the paint starts dripping in between. And then I'll work up to the smaller parts. And then just this way. Super easy, and I think this stuff is also drying pretty quickly today. It's almost done. Only just wiggle a little bit up and down with your brush to get the centerpiece done. Check if all the corners are covered up. Don't forget to do one gentle brush alongside the corners, and then we can brush all against one side to let the paint dry a little bit more flawless. There we are then. You can also do it this way to make sure that everything is covered up. There we are. Time to assemble the bottom to the top section. I already did that with the small one just to give it a try, and I think it looks really cool. Now what I'm going to do is turn this one here upside down, like so. This is the black for the big one, just one block extra on every part. And now I'm going to put the glue on the edge. Don't be afraid to use a little bit more. What comes down underneath, we just wipe that away. And I'm carefully going to put it just like this. Oops, that was a little bit too far from the side. Now I think we're there. Let's check if everything is straight. I think it looks perfect. Now, wait until it's completely dry. I think I'll leave this one for an hour or 1.5 hours to dry. Here they are, completely with the bottom inside, and I love how they look. Now, the next thing that we want is to put some sort of grip here. And you can use rope, you can use ribbon, and I chose for burlap. Now, it is for the big one, this size here is okay. Yeah, well, not this tight, but just more like a handle, but otherwise you can't see it. But for this one, the size is too big. So what I want to do is take this one out, otherwise it's too big to work with. I have a glue gun here, and I also have scissors here. Now let's see, how many do we need? Well, let's take off this piece, shall we? There we are. Now cut a little bit more straight. Need to be precise on this one. What I want to do is just fold it into half like this. So I'm going to glue this line. Let me see, is it already warm enough to work with? It's a really big tripper here. Because this glue gun works perfectly, but it has to be hot enough, otherwise you can't work with it. Then you've got to be really cramping when you push the lever here. I think it is okay. Well, no, not completely. We've got to do in parts. We can still fold around the first part. Just do it in half, gently touch it, and then as you can see, this one stays okay. Now we do the next part, and then we work all the way up to the end. Oops. That's the middle section. And the final part, to be honest. And then I think we're there. Just like this. Now we have a smaller handle, grip thing, whatever you want to call it, to put around it like this. And as you can see, it perfectly stands. Now, if the big one, the white one without gluing, doesn't stand either, I can always just do this. It perfectly stands upright. I didn't expect that to be so nice. Now, let me see. Oh, cut this one off here. Still a weird piece of thread there. How do I want this to be? Like so, or do I want a complete edge around it? No, I don't like that. But I don't like this either. You see, when you just stick around here. I'll see if I can find a big knot or something. Maybe that looks nice. I found it. I'm a set knot Madame meant buttons. And these ones are from Action 2, wooden buttons in various sizes. Never used them. Let's cut it open. Sometimes they have them, and they're so good to work with. Now let's see what size does fit in here compared to this one. It should be a little bit wider. What do we have then? I think the biggest ones. So if we say we put these on, then you get some nice finishing touch. I think that looks cool. But I don't want to have them like this. I'm going to beeswax them. So let me see. I need 4 of the same ones. And then these we can put in our stashes. Let's first get some beeswax. Turn this one off. And I have some beeswax here. This stuff we buy from a drugstore, and you can use it to finish off your wood. Any kind of wood, as long as it's inside, not outside. What you need is just a brush, and I use the lid. Oh, this thing is really fluid. Yeah, it's warm, so maybe that's why it comes so fluid. I use the lid, or the cap of the jar, to dab off the excess beeswax that I have. First, I start with the side parts, because they're easier to paint or stain. Because then you can still hold your craft. I hope you can see that it's starting to transform. Here you can see the color difference a little bit better. Then we do this ring here. Now I'm putting it just down. So I'll try to avoid those big clumps. Let's use a tip of the scissors to hold it in place without getting dirty fingers. Ah, that works. Yay, now we can just do our thing, rub in all the beeswax, and you can really see the color difference now. Now this has to dry for a while, but since it's warm, it's going pretty quickly today. I'm going to do the rest too, and when I get back, then we can glue everything together. And I still see I want to have a single or double piece of burlap for the big lantern. Okay, ready for the big work? Let's see, where shall we put this? I think over here. Okay, grab your glue gun. Place a really big dot of glue on the end of that thing. And I'll use my scissors to hold it in place while the glue is drying, because if you let go too quickly, that's going to have consequences. Then the whole thing starts to move. Is it too large, or should we do it a little bit smaller? Yeah, a little bit, I think. Let's just cut a small part off. But you can do this according to your taste. You can also braid a grip or no grip at all. Totally your choice. And then place the other part here. There. This looks super cute, but I don't like this edge here. So I grab my button. I don't want to lay this thing down. I didn't stain the back side because then the glue wouldn't stick anymore, because then it gets way too greasy. Now, big piece of glue there as well. And then just carefully push it into the right place. And then this is what you get. I really love that idea. And you can use both of the lanterns in a way that you like. Yeah, indoor, or if you use other paint, you can use it outdoors on your patio, totally up to you. There. I really like how it turned out. I'm going to do his big brother too, and then I will show you the final result. Here is the final result of today's DIY. I put 2 plants inside of the lanterns, but you can also put in lights, whatever you want to use. I hope that you like what we made today. Let us know in the comment section what you think of it. And we hope that you come back to our next video to watch. Thank you very much for watching now, and we wish you a really nice day. Bye everyone!